Thank you very much to the University of Smite. You'll see more of them as the season goes on. But we're back here for SPL Day 1, Set 2, Randozos versus Denial after that crazy set we just saw of Eager versus Allegiance.
It was a phenomenal set. Eager coming out on top. But 2 new squads for you, and honestly, every team is new. Coming into season 3, it's a big switch up. There's literally 0 teams that have remained the same, and even a more recent switch up for those who haven't heard. Randozos actually just yesterday benching Gars in replace of Skeeledon. So heading in, they weren't comfortable with Gars, which is really surprising, you know. And even PolarBearMike, I don't know if he's the team captain or not, but
they said when Gars was on point and he was focused on the game and turned up for the practices, he was a fantastic player to be around. However, they didn't feel he had either the commitment or when he was in game, he wasn't fully focused. They've now replaced him with Skeeledon. And to be fair, Skeeledon versus Gars, when you look at that, Gars is definitely the better player on paper. He's been around a lot longer. Skeeledon's got a lot to prove this season, and that's going to hurt Randozos here, I feel.
I think, you know, I said this yesterday when I heard this. This is the difference between a team looking for wins and a team looking to be winners. And they felt that Gars could probably earn them some wins. And they even said, you know, mechanically, Gars is the better on paper. It wasn't a question of that. It was a question of his dedication to the team. Because he did go from, you know, the team solo mid who, you know, went to Worlds and then still a top team in North America heading into Season 2. And then he drops down to this 8 seed team that, you know, couldn't even win their own way into relegations. They had to be re-invited after other teams couldn't fill their spot. So they're going with Skeeledon, though. Less experienced, actually 0 experience in the SPL itself.
That's correct.
Notable Challenger Cup player. And honestly, I think he has a lot of potential, but this is a team of growth. We're not expecting to see them come in and dominate.
Let's see how well they grow. We'll go straight into picks and bans right now. Denial, on the other hand, as we go into the picks and bans screen. Denial are one of these teams that last season, they finished 7th. Yes. However, they've had a lot of roster changes this year, and most notably, 2 of those members, Vetium and Benji, formerly known as Salt Machine, are finalists of the World Championship this year. So
Coach Drelo as well came over.
And Coach Drelo.
One of the reasons I think that team made that deep of a run in the Smite World Championship. They're going to be first pick, however, no time wasted. Bologna banned away from Scary D.
I'm just not sure where picks and bans are going to go overall based on the last set we just saw between Eager and Allegiance.
One thing you have to do is
Macetodaface, Sun Wukong, Tier with Transcendence.
But against Mace to the face, you have to ban Isis, right? When Isis was bad, Mace to the face was the only player playing Isis. When Isis became good, he obviously continued to use it and dominate, and that's what Denial has historically been known as, is this very early game aggressive team. Now, they have 3 new members, but still, Isis very strong in the meta, but it's going to be a Kali first pick.
Most notable bans there, Ao Kuang and Kepri were taken away from both teams here. Kali first pick, and in response, we're going to see Raijin for the first time today as well. The Drum Master is here.
I mean, it's going to be interesting. Damage-wise, Raijin is very strong. However, there is a lot of wind-up times on his abilities that he can be locked down. He does have the teleport, the lightning teleport. However, there's time to interrupt that, to cancel it. Same with his ult. You know, it can be used as a CC, as this massive burst, but he's sitting up in those drums. He's very slow moving, and if there's a god that can dive Raijin without having to worry about death, it's Kali. I like Raijin. I don't know about Raijin into Kali.
However, we're going to see a Kumbhakarna pick up as well here. Kumbhakarna seems to be rising in popularity once again. I mean, considering there's Geb on the table available here as well, we're going to see Kumbha locked in. Has the Yawn, which is very, very impactful, and one of the best setups in the Guardian.
This is a Shadowq special. Shadowq has been one of the few pro players who has repeatedly gone back to Kumbha on a basis. You'll see him play it all the time on his stream. You'll see him play it in SPL games, and this is something he's very comfortable with. A lot of control. You know, he's not really looking to find kills. He's just looking to disrupt the team fight and allow Kali to get to the back line.
Well, Randozos feel like Serqet is very, very strong still, even though she took some nerfs and going to get buffed after the latest patch announcement. However, we're going to counterban phase and immediately Vermana taken away by Denial. It's not a god that you want to pick for yourself here if there's a Serqet, just because Big Baby gets cancelled with the healing.
Yeah, no healing from Serqet's last breath. Final ban coming through, it's Guan Yu, who has risen in popularity, taken away from Scary D once again. Very good at resetting fights, allowing your team to engage, and as long as you don't lose any members, you're able to heal up and siege very effectively. I like the ban Randozos, though, coming into the second half. Might be looking for a Hunter, and that's exactly what it is. It's going to be Meerkat on Hou-Yi, and this is something that I want to talk about, is Meerkat, because throughout the SPL, we've had multiple players switch roles. However, the only player I've ever seen that has immediately jumped into a role and been successful on a short time span is Zeros. in the mid lane.
That's
coming
true.
from jungle. And he honestly had played Janus and Vulcan in the jungle beforehand. It was something he had been trying to switch to for a while. Everyone else, while there's been some, okay, we've had good games and all, but the full-on ramp up to where you are a top-level player in that role takes at least 3 to 5 weeks.
Amaterasu will be locked in for Denial, and he's back over to Randozos now. More than likely looking for the solo laner here. Will be Tier once again. We'll see if he goes for Transcendence as well.
The Divio special?
The
I don't know,
Divio
man.
special
Divios
now.
is doing whatever he wants.
Same old Devios. I mean,
Transcendence?
so when we look at these two teams on paper now, in terms of the picks and bans, what are we going to see from the mid lane? Because I want to say Randozos mid lane is going to be a little bit slow in terms of push here. A little bit at risk.
Yeah, you know, the Raijin, it can clear very effectively, but Serqet takes a little bit to get online. Kind of like the Hunbats, where she can go, she has a higher kill potential, but she has less wave clear than Hunbats. So you kind of have to play around trying to force early kills or on your back foot and just looking to farm so you can hit 5. And against a Kali Janus, it's interesting. Kali, honestly, once she gets her stun, she can kill people too. Incense gives you bonus power. Combine that with a little bit of burst, it can be rough.
So Skeeledon early on left the base, picked up some early wards for defense more than anything else. You can see that because he's not even picked up his relic yet. Will recall to get some mana potions online as well, and more than likely that relic to go along with it. But those are very defensive wards there, Adonis.
You could see that Randozos do not want to get invaded by the Kali.
Amaterasu Kali against Serqet Tier?
I mean, honestly, Randozos might be playing scared. They're not necessarily new players into the scene. PBM, Meerkat, Aduro, and Skeeledon have all been there. But, you know, they're coming in expecting to be the weaker team, right? One of the weaker teams. They want to grow as a team and find wins later in the split, maybe not so much early. And I think that's what they're going to be looking for, is kind of play defensively. I think they are going for that late game. You know, you look at the Raijin, who's going to be able to really win a team fight for them late game if he can get off his drums. Skeeledon on Serqet, very good at carrying late game. Also very good, most notably, against Kali. If you can get that last breath off, even if she kills someone, she's not going to have that heal.
This will be the first time to see Masked this season as well. One of those rookies that was available to be picked up for the Pro League this season after his suspension, and now he was on the market and available, now joins the roster of Denial alongside Benji and Vetium. This is a disgusting looking roster on paper, but
it's great.
Can they synergize it well?
Something to note, we haven't really talked about it. Benji, for those who don't know, previously known as Salt Machine, so he's had a name change heading into Season 3 for those who are a little bit less familiar with him. Early on, though, Randozos
and here's the issue.
Going pretty even. Oh, Aduro's in trouble.
The damage already on him. He has to immediately jump away using the Thunder Crash. Took it to level 2, which is smart, but there's the problem with the pressure in the mid lane already, Adonis. The Percussive Storm, the Raijin's one, it doesn't really do enough damage early to clear the wave and full. And Serqet, she can't go into as a melee.
It's not only that it doesn't do enough damage, but it's kind of like Isis Wingus, where you have to continuously pressure it. But he doesn't get the movement speed and the ability to kite around like Isis does. It also doesn't clear, so it's a lot harder to get off. And you can see pressure going early.
Good ricochet coming out from Meerkat there over in the duo lane as well. We mentioned him, Meerkat, new to the role this season, started as a solo laner last season for the most part. As we tune him with a solo and Skeeledon versus Benji. Relatively even between the two, but the sustain is definitely in Skeeledon's favor.
He's going to win this. The second he hits level 3, there he does. He's going to have the stance switch, going to be able to heal up, and Benji entirely going to have to rely on his potions.
And Death's Toll. Just to try
and Death's Toll, but still, it's nowhere near as strong. And look at this early
does have
take
the
from
aura.
Skeeledon. Benji doesn't know about this, and actually Skeeledon pushes Benji towards his tower. A nice taunt. First blood going to Randozos.
Very nice work from Randozos, abusing the opportunity they presented themselves. Skeeledon just went straight in with the Fearless. He obviously didn't expect the extra damage coming out. Amaterasu just didn't expect it.
I mean, trusted Skeeledon was going to hit that taunt, not having to worry about Amaterasu finding her way back under tower.
And that's going to just help
Skeeledon already
Skeeledon
impactful.
in mid lane. Aduro under pressure has to use the jump away once again with the Thunder Crash, constantly using that for defense, which we expect to see this mage being used as a defensive tool for him, not necessarily the aggression of the mez and damage that you can get off it, at least until late game.
It's always risky, right? Unless you're going to be going Warlock Sash, which based on Aduro's build, I don't see that. He's picked up the Lost Artifact, which could either build into Geomorph or he could build it into Chronos Pendant later on, depending. You can also always save it for Rod of Tahuti, but you typically don't want to invest that early in it. You don't really need the mana. 3
level 5s online now, Masked and Macetodaface both reaching level 5 as well as Skeeledon over in that solo lane. Serqet should be reaching there relatively soon for Skeeledon as well as the mid laner Aduro once this wave comes through. But Aduro will be definitely looking to base soon, out of health potions, just wants to clear up that wave.
Rotation coming in from Athena. Actually, it looks like he might want to come around the side, and there's going to be a taunt. Meerkat ready, but Purification forced onto Vetium very early.
Yeah, Mark of the Crow came up as well for Meerkat there, but if he could have pulled that on earlier, he could have looked for a ricochet, potentially. Just a little bit of taunt and a little bit of aggression.
Just trying to basically scare Vetium out of lane. And honestly, getting that purification, 160 seconds, completely worth it. That means anytime PolarBearMike wants to find a taunt, he knows Vetium's not going to be able to react unless he can hit that Petrify at the exact same time.
And PolarBearMike, for you guys at home, he did play for Eagle last season, finished second during the Pro League stages, missed out on going to Worlds, however. But the same, one thing that can be said is both Shadowq and PolarBearMike both played with Zapman in the past, so they're both used to very aggressive hunters.
And look at this, speaking of aggression, Randozos 4-man invading, but Denial smells it out. There's going to be a taunt on the Shadowq. Skeeledon putting out a lot of pressure, but Shadowq just going to knock him up, and looks like a disengage from Denial.
Very wise uppercut there. Bit of poke damage onto Hou-Yi. Meerkat forced to leap away. Vitium's going to swing round, and immediately Denial realize they're in a safe position. Left Harpies are about to spawn, as we actually just saw Benji return to base there, looking round the back of the solo lane, and Skeeledon's going to go and pick up his blue. So a little bit of aggression, not too much to write home about, but they do get the red buff, Randozos.
They do, and this is what they have to do with their... It's not necessarily with their team comp, but it's against Denial's team comp. You look at the damage Denial has late game. Not only Kali, but Amaterasu as well, phenomenal team fighter. Shadowq there for a ton of disrupt. I mean Vitium's basically going to be a Petrify bot, which is, once again, a phenomenal team fighting ability. And honestly, Macetodaface, with all those portals, it's going to be very hard to lock down Denial come late game.
And the one surprising thing so far is Randoos' duo lane there of Athena and Hou-Yi managed to outpush Vitium and Shadowq early and get that pressure in that lane. That's quite surprising because Kumbhakarna and Medusa should definitely have a little bit of an earlier wave clear advantage.
I think it came down to PBM and Meerkat were actually able to just get to lane earlier and then keep up the aggression. You could even see what PBM was doing, you know, kind of walking around the side, trying to force beads, trying to bait Vitium into using as many potions as he could early on.
He's in duo lane right now, actually going to dash in. The taunt came out from PolarBearMike. Different wavelengths.
Small communication
there.
Skeeledon seemed like he wanted to call it off because Vitium had saw him, but PolarBearMike went in anyway. Maybe he was expecting Vitium to just react and dash away in time. Probably could have been a kill. A little bit risky, though. With the Janus, it's a little bit risky.
It wasn't as risky as they thought because actually Purification was down for Vitium there. They would have realized that. I think they could have all in and found that kill.
And maybe that's what it was. Maybe Skeeledon thought the Purification was still up. Again, this is a new team coming in. Kind of
Big
a lot of members who've been at the bottom.
Benji's doing a good job of baiting, and now Scary D's in a bit of an awkward spot, going to get the Athena rule as well as use Lawbringer to escape the danger.
And we've seen that a lot, right? Both of these teams trying to bait out as much as they can, whether it be ultimates, whether it be relics. That means Scary D is going to be open to a gank, and also they don't have to worry about the Athena ult coming over if they want to take another trip over to that solo lane. And Mast, he's happy with this, right? You know, the team's down a kill, had a couple buffs stolen, but it's only 800 gold. Mast, he's just like, let me get to late game. I'm Kali. I'm going to carry this team on my back if you let me get there.
He's got the Warrior Tabby online, just roaming the map, looking for an opportunity right now. Looking for these imps at the Fire Giant pit at the moment. So we check in with the mid laners. Adoro has gone for Doom Orb here as a rushed start. Now, it's not too bad, but mobility on Raijin is not the easiest thing in the world. He's going to have to use his Thunder Crash
but
very
that's
safe.
why he did it, because he has the Thunder Crash, which is one of the more safe mid lane options, right? You look at Scylla, Sikkim, another blink in though, and now
ultimate comes out as well. Damage onto him, jumps back to Tower Range, but immediately Mask is in position to clean up the kill. He will get taunted, still has his ultimate available.
No healing.
The poison is on him, however, will it run out in time? No, it will not. Skeeledon trades it back in the rotation from Scary D. He's going to force Macetodaface to have a little tumble as well. Back to base.
Shadowq just sitting here, needs to be careful left-hand side though. Vitium and Meerkat duking it out, misses the Petrify. There's the Suns raining down, but Vitium's going to back off of that one.
Fight is pretty much washed there between the two. It was a good little trade. Meerkat's turn just as the Petrify came out, saved the day as the Hunters do battle. We've seen a lot more aggression out of Hunters already in Season 3 than we saw in the whole of Season 2.
All Hunters seem to be wanting to fight. Vitium with PolarBearMike's rotation going to dash away. In the meantime, though, Skeeledon once again stealing away this red buff. He's 2-1-3, but have been a part of every single kill. 2 of them on his own character, and he is controlling Denial right now.
And I like that fight between Meerkat and Vitium as well, for the simple fact that Meerkat's got nothing to lose. He's new to the Hunter role. If he loses the trade, it's like, oh, he's against one of the potential
he's
decks, right?
Hou-Yi you expect to win all 1v1s. Mark of the Crow.
This early in the game, though?
Yeah, even. Bonus penetration, you have a ricochet, especially in that tight corridor. You have an ultimate that can slow people and also disrupts a lot. It's even hard to hit your autos while inside the Suns. And Medusa simply can't fight into it. As long as he can juke the Petrify, which he did, he is expected to win that fight.
Well, Raijin, the newest god available in competitive play, he's now starting to get his clear online as well with that Doom Up and those boots being worked on. Because of Storm, definitely good for the wave clear. Keep an eye out for the Drums of War. That'll definitely eventually come out, which I'm going to call that his ultimate, his Drums of War, because that's exactly what it feels like.
I think it's Percussive Storm.
No, that's his one.
Oh, man. I always get
You need
confused.
to know these abilities.
It's all
called
drums
haiku.
and band
It's called haiku
stuff.
drums, but I'm just calling it drums of war. It's fine.
Haiku
It's
drums?
audio
Oh,
drums.
yeah, it is haiku drums. Yeah, drums of war. So much better. Why
Much
don't they
better.
let us name abilities?
Because we could call them things like hot dogs.
Probably would get a hot dog ability.
Benji once again against Scary D. A little bit of an advantage for Scary D in this lane. That's chilling down to the killers. Petrify used by Vetium. Mass coming in as well. Lacerate for Vetium to close the gap. But they realize they're not going to catch up. Shadowq wasn't in a position to follow.
If Vetium had hit that Lacerate, if he had rooted Athena, maybe they could have gone for the combo, especially considering Shadowq had his blink online. But without getting kind of that extra couple seconds to lock Athena down, probably not worth the risk. Denial decide better of it. And Shadowq saves his blink for now. Both soul laners, though, going for the same build. The Warriors have
Scary's feeling himself, going to force the ultimate in response from Benji there.
Oh, but look at this, Skeely.
This is the trade.
Skeely's coming under, and Benji, he has nothing to do now. There's going to be last breath. That's going to be a kill, but here's the rotation from Mass. Nice stun. Scary D, no mana, but they switch targets to Skeeledon. Oh, he jukes the unstable Vortex. One hit. That's Kali's target. She jumps in. She misses. Mass continuing to chase him down, but Raijin's here as well. Drums of war raining through the team fight, and it looks like no one's going to die.
Rookie player in the SPL, Skeeledon steps up, survives, picks up a kill, and Shadowq, well, he's not going to find anything else there. Nice little rotation from the boys of Randozos. Big taunt from PolarBearMike that really allowed that to happen as well. Lacerate from Vetium, forcing Meerkat back, not allowing him to stay aggressive in the jungle.
And back and forth from both of these teams, but I do want to talk about Skeeledon. The ability to juke out Mask for so long, and while that is his target, Mask, that was his target on the Skeeledon, even if he got the kill, Mask was still full health, but it's just showing the presence of mind. Skeeledon is here to play, so far getting the better of Mask for all 10 minutes.
His extra gold will also change his target as well. Mask is in a lot of trouble now. The drums of war are not available. The percussive storm hits, but it's not enough. It's only one hit. Gonna go on the fearless. His taunt available. There's the ultimate force onto Mask. Immediately they reset. Yawn comes out from Shadowq, forcing the purification out from Adoro. Epic uppercut on Athena, gonna be rooted in place. Following that, but there's no backup with Janus, only going to be able to get a decent unstable Vortex off. It's not enough to find a kill, but look who's here. The Denial solo laner and dual lane have arrived.
Scary D by himself, going to have to Lawbringer out. Portal, not going to be enough. Slowed is Scary D, but Benji not going to be able to chase him down even with that movement speed aura. And once again, another disengage. It's 1-4 in kills, but I mean, so many players so close to death all game. And now it's going to be a blue buff in favor of Denial after forcing Randozos back to base.
And that was a beautiful little play from both the teams there. You saw Mask get caught a little bit out of position. Randozos capitalizing it, don't manage to find the kill. By that time, Denial have then collapsed themselves and try and turn it back around. Randozos recognize the danger, disengage immediately. And they're looking to seal both sets of buffs.
And Randozos, typically the ones in Denial's jungle. Now it's Denial on the other foot. Skeeledon low. Locked in place by the Lacerate, and now Randozo's down a man. They're going to take this fight either way.
Yeah, Purification is down for Vetium there. He used it after the Lacerate as well to escape the taunt. Will we actually see Randozos continue to try and collapse? It doesn't look like it for now, and Denial, they can just retreat to their own jungle and continue farming it up and get themselves more buffs.
You know, surprisingly, this game is close. It's only a 500 gold difference, which was essentially the first blood. Denial able to hold out to the aggression. Shadowq in a little bit of trouble. There's the bounce, knock up.
Has to use the epic uppercut to escape more than anything, and that's one of the benefits of Kumbha. That ultimate will get him out of danger from the target that's stuck to him for the most part.
Build-wise, Aduro now has boots online, so going to be a little bit more mobile. Also, 50 stacks on Doomward. And both of these mages, Janus and Raijin, do a lot of damage. Both teams need to always be aware where they're at. And Aduro, so far, really good rotational power for him, surprisingly. Honestly, out-rotating Janus in a lot of these instances. He's always ready to rotate. You could see him sitting over at Gold Fury, sitting over near the Fire Giant pit, because he knows that the second Mace ults, if he's still in lane, he's going to lose the rotation.
Really is. Meanwhile, Macetodaface cleaning up the mid lane there, still working on getting his stacks up in the Doom Mob. After that tumble he just took, it's only at 14 stacks right now.
Look at this Gold Fury, though. Started up by Randozos. Denial don't even know about it. Mace would have ulted if they did. Shadowq's going to smell it out, but it might be a little bit too late.
No, it's not too late at all. Shadowq going to be in a position, force a reset. The drums of war come out from Adoro. Shadowq goes in. Randozos get the Gold Fury and disengage immediately. But look at this. Teleport from Benji, a little bit late. And he's going to end up wasting that.
But ult coming out from PolarBearMike, Randozos not exactly sure where the rest of Denial were. Wanting to take the safe path and not allow Benji to get ahead. But in the meantime, I mean, Scary D left alone to get a couple solo waves. He's going to try and get this tower. The question is he going to back off? Is he going to recognize the rotation? And yes, he's going to play it safe. A rare kind of safe play from Scary D. You know,
it was very safe.
Honestly, last season I was not impressed by Scary D. relegations, I was very unimpressed by ScaryD. Baskin destroyed him, right? And honestly, ScaryD was doing the same mistake 8 times in a row that allowed Woony Tunes to kind of win the game. But it really seems, you know, PolarBearMike's been tweeting about it too. They've been working on ScaryD. He has a lot of raw talent, and they're trying to build him up. I'll be really interested to see
risk
how he
versus
does.
reward that, because he could have potentially taken
Old
the tower
ScaryD
and
would have
fall.
tried to take the tower.
He could have taken it, but he may have died for it as well. I think in the Gold Fury, they take what they get out of it. Let's check in with the Golden Experience now, and you should see it's about 1,600 lead for the Randozos, but the experience is still even.
And honestly, that's, you know, all credit to Denial, because honestly, they've been on the back foot for the most part of this game. Skeeledon level 12, 3-1-1, but doing a phenomenal job of stealing away buffs and controlling the jungle, but Denial been able to fight back into it. And Mast, honestly, he actually has an experience lead on Skeeledon, and that's because Mast has been focusing on farming. And this is what he wants to do. He's a Kali. Get me to 30 minutes, I will carry the game. Skeeledon wants to try and force stuff early.
And that's the difference between the two assassins as well, because Mast on this Kali wants to get to late game, wants to get that farm going. However, Serqet wants those early kills, get the pressure on the map, allow a team an opportunity to capitalize. I'm talking about Serqet. He goes in, forcing Mast to leap away once again, and Shadowq going to quickly sit on the front line, but just be in the position to hold fast for his team.
ScaryD wants to fight. Actually, all of Randozos want to fight. Denial recognizes they're going to back off for now, but Randozos have nothing to steal right now in Denial's jungle, so recognizing that, they're just going to back off and take their own free farm. They're being aggressive, but they're not going too deep. That's one thing, is that they're holding back.
You
Speaking
say
of holding
that, Blink.
back,
Ultimate comes out, immediately collapsed on his Adoro. He's under pressure. Going to get ultimated from Athena as well as the dunk comes down. There's a purification used to crash away to safety. Master on the front side, but look at that. Benji was waiting for Adoro, who uses the percussive storm with the fear to get him away from danger.
and look at this. Randozos don't want to fight. They're trying to disengage so hard. This is allowing ScaryD to get the solo lane tier 1 on the right. He's successful. A win for Randozos. They're finding the small wins. Denial, though, still hanging in it. I mean, 2-4, 15 minutes in, it's been a lot of action. Not too many secured kills, though. And that also comes down to the mobility and kind of the safeness from both of these squads. Outside of, I would say, Aduro, everyone pretty safe.
Since
Very
the
hard to
Gold
lock
Fury's
down
gone
these
down,
players.
Randozos have done a very good job of starting to control their own jungle once again. We saw Denial were the ones that were aggressive in the jungle the whole time, trying to steal away buffs, and now Randozos have capitalized and holding their own. Whenever Denial have entered the jungle, they've not found anything. Randozos have cleaned things up, and it's been good.
Look at this, too. Second game in a row, or second set in a row, we're seeing the Imperial helmet come out. This time it's going to be onto Aduro. These mages, like Raijin, like Zeus, that are very high burst, but really don't have the tankiness.
Penetration, power, and physical protection
It's perfect.
as well.
Everything you want.
3 things, and 1,700 gold.
And that's the thing, right? Raijin's just trying to make sure that Mask can't kill him when he ults. And as long as Mask can't kill him, that's a win for Aduro. And I mean, it's getting close though, right? Like, when's the breaking point, honestly, for Denial? When does the Kali take over?
I'd
She
say
has
23
She
minutes.
has chin size. She's working on what looks like Fatalis, and once that gets online, it's going to be up to Denial to kind of start trying to take control of this match.
Well, it's going to be on Denial to take control of Masked more than anything else. Not Denial, sorry. Randozo to take control of Mask. Can they shut him down consistently is the big question on anyone's lips. And I think I'm going to have to look at Skeeledon there and Adoro. If they can somehow get to the backline and pick up Masked, or we can see a good ultimate from Adoro.
To be fair,
one-shot
we've
him.
seen how useful Skeeledon... Actually, hold on. It looks like Randozos want to fight.
Three-man-
There's a 3-man
three-man
taunt.
taunt.
This is big for Randozos.
But can they get any follow-up from it? Is the question. Shadowq on the front line, keeping them busy. May's going to jump through the portal back to safety. Skeeledon on the front line in the jungle, realizing there's nothing to be had now. The 3-man taunt dissolves. They don't find enough of it. 4-2 is the scoreline, but they're going to push mid.
5-man strong. Randozos. They don't want to give this up, and 2 players for Denial still at base, and there
Mace
it goes. Meerkat blows up Mace to the face. Skeeledon in the back. Nice mez, but Vetium now going to get targeted by Skeely. Skeely's left alone, though. The
He's
rest
dead,
of the team is behind the tier 1.
They are behind the tier 1, but now there's Benji's going aggressive, looking to force them back. Doesn't find the stun he was after. Blinking from Masto, gets a door in a world of hurt. Mas taking a lot of tower damage, will have his ultimate available if he needs it. Still tanking up, trying to save that ult, and he does so. Benji could be looking for Meerkat there, but instead they turn their attention to ScaryD, who's
1
after
for
Vetium.
2 so far. ScaryD, fearless onto 2. Meerkat, 1 hit, he finds it, and it's Meerkat back in. He's trying to keep it Benji at bay. ScaryD, though, so tanky. He can look to turn this on Vetium. That's what he's going to do. Nice Sanctuary.
Big Sanctuary
and it
is
looks
going
like
to save him, Benji.
Randozos are going to back off finally.
They're going to back away. ScaryD going to continue the chase for now, but he's not going to find anything more. Big note there was ScaryD's fearless. Stop Mas from using his ultimate because he was in the air. Torn on to the man Benji, who's going to be able to escape for now.
I almost thought the triple was going to hit.
You really think-
Benji almost
again?
walked into the triple. You saw it. Mace to the face,
He's
ulting, trying to chase, but I mean, ScaryD's pretty tanky. He'll be fine for the most part. No follow-up. Speaking of no follow-up, I want to go all the way back to the beginning of that fight. Randozos played it perfectly. They baited a lot of relics. They forced 2 members of Denial back to base off of the 3-man taunt for PolarBearMike. Then Skeeledon dives in deep. I believe it was Shadowq or Macetodaface. One of the 2 they picked up, but the rest of the team were focusing the tower. It was a miscommunication on the team.
They picked up Macetodaface, but Skeeledon felt like they could get more, dived in looking for the backline of Vetium, and then he ends up dying, which he shouldn't have really gone for.
It's once again a miscommunication. Skeeledon just joined this team 1 or 2 days ago. I don't know who's making the shot calls for it, but he's trying to force stuff, and the rest of the team isn't on the same page, no matter what it is.
Jerry D looking for the Fearless into combo after the Lawbringer, but immediately Macetodaface escapes with Janus again. PolarBearMike's taunts have been on point so far. Hitting him multiple people.
I honestly forgot, but like last season, PolarBearMike, this was my favorite god that he was on because he just felt so comfortable. He looked so comfortable.
I think he had like
every time he played Athena.
9 wins.
It was 9-1, I think, over the fall split. Successful during, I believe, the Cognitive Invitational, as well as the early parts of the Super Regionals. It just seems like PolarBearMike just is so good on these aggressive supports.
We can see both the supports in the jungle now for Denial and Randozos. Working towards similar goals right now. Breastplate of Valor is completed for PolarBearMike, but left-hand side, Vetium does not have any relics available. And he's going to get deleted very, very quickly.
Denial, though.
Turn around.
Oh, baited the Purification, and now Meerkat, he stunned his own sons, but Mass has to jump away. There's Meditation, I believe, and now Shadowq trying to finish off Meerkat, but a jump away from him. That Meditation saved his life. Skeeledon in the backline picks up Mace.
And all the way in the backline he was as well. Benji's now here as well. Skeeledon
They're
quite
baiting
happy to tank
Denial.
up. The rest of the team's coming. Taunt comes out from PolarBearMike, doesn't hit. The drums of war do on Benji though, who tries to turn it around with an ult of his own. Gets a good stun off PolarBearMike, but Lawbringer from Skeeledon denies that stun. Sanctuary from Maduro to get him from danger. Mass disengages once again. Randozos are slowly winning this game.
This game does not feel like a 4 to 8 kills game, right? It's just been non-stop fighting. There's been like 3 minutes, I think, was the longest spread where no one engaged at all or no one got close to low health. But, I mean, once again, Meditation, yeah, that pickup from PolarBearMike saving Meerkat. We're starting to see a little bit more Meditation relics in the meta, just very useful.
Somewhere on the team.
The problem before was that it cost 900 gold. And you typically, it was like, when do I want to build this? I really need beads, I really need shell, I need these others. But now that you can buy it immediate level 12, no gold, and you get the rank 3 effectiveness.
That's the big key. The big key for the Meditation here is that it's rank 3. If you get rank 1 of Sanctuary last season, which was Aegis, you still got some CC damage immunity. If you bought rank 1 of beads, you still got that. Rank 1 of Med, it only gave you a mana heal.
It's like every relic got nerfed except for Meditation, which stayed the same. It's essentially what it was. Shell as well.
Shadow in a bit of trouble here, going to get Fearless into a whole team. Should have his Yawn available, there you go, but he took a lot of pressure.
Nice use of portal.
Use of the portal there, Mace called that one out, and that's comms from Denial.
That's the Yaman portal. He's the only one I ever saw use it all game.
Well, with Shadowq having to go back to base now, Golfurator from the Randozos, all 5 members are here. Benji recalling, has teleport available on the Amaterasu to turn up to this Vetium.
They want to fight this.
Spots this one out now. Mass is here through space and time goes off. Randozos get the Golfurator, but will they win the fight?
You can see the chase is on. All 5 members of Randozos fresh, but it looks like Denial is chasing through. Benji, there's dazzling offense. He's going to look for Scary D. No, he switches off to Meerkat. Nice stun. Skeeledon eliminated. And now it's 1 hit on Meerkat, who falls as well. Double for Benji. Mast blinks over the tower. PolarBearMike locked in place. Mace to the face finds that one, and Scary D and the rest of Randozos just trying to get away.
Trying to get away from Benji is forcing them all back. A beautiful play from Denial after the Gold Fury goes to Randozos. Can they get anything off it though? I think they're going to just steal the jungle and take tier 1 tower mid lane here. Will be the call.
Possibly tier 1 left as well. That's available, or tier 2. They don't have any. They have a couple minions. They should take this tier 2. This is free. Raijin and Scary D, no ultimates. They're not going to be able to kill him unless Scary D can somehow get to the backline, which he does have blink. He could look into combo Vetium.
Let's have a look at the graphs now just to see how that swung immediately back into Denial's favor. After that Crave, well, experience we're not even at all. And Masked is on Carly. Masked is here, and Benji made an impact in that fight that everybody has to respect.
Oh, blink in, there it is, but nice Sanctuary. Vetium gonna live for now. Scary D gonna chase him, looking for 1 more hit. No, he needed 2. Scary D Lawbringer over the top. He finds up, hits Mace as well, and Mace has to get out. But look at this, there's 1 player still caught. It's Benji, he's low. The rest of Randozos is here.
Randozos trying to push them back. Now there's an opportunity for Randozos to try and capitalize themselves. Tier 1 tower in mid is weak. They could potentially look for a Fire Giant as through space and time.
The back and forth.
Use then.
Oh, this is risky either way.
They
don't know if they want to do it or not. They don't know if they want to do it. They're going to start it up.
Bait or do it. You got to pick one. If you're going to bait, you got to find a pick. If you don't find the pick,
They're waiting
you
way
take
too
it.
long. The members of Denial are coming off a base.
Don't get the taunt onto Shadowq, who just uses the wall nicely to zone himself away from the danger. And now Randozos realize they can't capitalize on that. They're going to go to mid instead. But now the boys of Denial are back.
They forced his purification. Meerkat going to take a little bit of poke, but Denial, they know they can lock down Meerkat this next fight. He doesn't have purification, 155 more seconds. And that's all they wanted. The blink for the purification so they could lock down Meerkat before he can make an impact.
Do you know what? I love the way Randozos have played so far. They've got good goal furies, they've got good engagements. The issue is going to be decision making in later stages of the game. Should they have done Fire Giant? Should they have gone for a kill? They hesitated. They found nothing. Instead, it was all Denial after that goal fury.
It's always easy to play the 2v3s, the 2v2s and the 3v3s. Guaranteed, no matter what happens in a game, whether it goes late or early, you're always playing those 2v2 and 3v3 fights. That's what these players are the most comfortable with. That's what all ranked players, that's what all players who, no matter how good you do in this SPL, you're going to have those first 20 minutes and play them out. But heading into 30 minutes, and against a Kali, a Kumba, a Janus, it gets a lot harder to try and make the right choices.
And you can lose a game
Denial
based
have
off
the
that.
experience. Randozos don't in that regard.
Really do. Benji over on this right-hand lane, just continuing to farm with a reflection. Skeeledon doing what he can as well. As we tune in with Mask in the jungle, has that Odysseus bow online, level 18 now.
He's swinging.
I said about 23 minutes we'll see Mask come online, and I feel like it's where we're about to hit. He's even giving the red buff.
2.24 attack speed right now.
They give him the red buff.
He is swinging. If he can get on a target, he is going to chase them to their death. I don't care if Aduro has his Jade Imperial helm. He is dead if Mast is left alone on him.
Well, experience time to show for Denial here because they're starting to push and pull Randozos around the map. All 5 members grouped in mid allows Vetium to put some pressure over on that left-hand lane, and Mask was there for defense as well in case the rotations came out very quick. Don't forget, they also have a Janus with through space and time that could have turned up to that as well. So Denial trying to poke around the map here. Benji pushing the right-hand side now as 3 members of Randozos to the left to defend. The red buff is invaded.
It's going to be down for now. Benji and Skeeledon still over in the Soul Lane. Shadowq level 14 right now has 0 health in his build. He has a little bit from working on that winged blade, but he can still be bursted if he's not careful. And I don't know if Randozos have focused on that, but it's always a risk trying to focus a support who has that much disrupt.
A Kumba is the big key there. His ultimate is the big thing that's getting him away. When we've seen Shadowq cut out of position, he's immediately ulted or yawned to get himself away.
The only player in the game, actually, no deaths outside of Skeeledon, who's just simply very tanky and has CDR. And
Tier 2 tower going to be pressured here. Look, run the back. PolarBearMike's there with taunts available. Shadowq blinks in and gets a good yawn off. Meerkat under a lot of pressure. Didn't manage to jump until he took a lot of poke already, and that's going to allow Mass to continue chasing down with Benji. Ultimate comes out from Benji, and that secures a stun onto Skeeledon as well as the kill onto Meerkat. Aduro gets taken out on the front side.
Skeeledon is split pushing, but he's going to lose a lot. PolarBearMike 1 hit, and it's going to be Benji with the double. There's 2 players left alive for Randozos, but that's at least 1 Phoenix. Honestly, Denial could look to go for the middle one. With Shadowq low, it's a little bit risky.
70 minutes in this game, we could have said is going either way. Randozos looked in this one, but Denial, they've just shown experience.
Dead close. I don't know why Skeeledon was over split pushing, man.
He stayed after they defended the tier 2, sorry, the tier 1 tower from Vetium pushing, and he stuck around to continue
Honestly,
farming.
I do know why. The plan was for Randozos to back off there and allow Denial to get the free tier 2 because they weren't in position. But instead, Shadowq took the fight to them. The blink triple mez, and he waited. He didn't break the mez. He waited for the rest of his team to get in position. Then they engaged. Meerkat was as good as
his
dead.
ultimate. Skeeledon trying to look towards it. Uses the Fearless Combo to close the range again. Keeps the pressure on Master.
Skeeledon.
Stun. Skeeledon comes in, gets the ultimate off. Fire Giant goes the way of Denial, but it doesn't look like Randoos are going to get anything out of this other than more casualties of war.
Vetium picks up Skeeledon 11-9 and kills 27 minutes in, and Denial with their lead, with the Fire Giant buff around their belt. This one, it's going to be a comeback for Denial if they're able to do it. But honestly, they're up against an Amaterasu, Janus, and Kali in a late game scenario. It is not an easy task. A lot of it's going to come down to an individual play, most notably on Skeeledon. He's going to have to try and outplay Mask, right? He needs to force Mask to ult without Mask getting anything in the fight, and then kill him with the last breath as the ultimate. It's such a minuscule time frame that he has to do that. And if Kumba peels, it's over.
3 members in the top 4 of player damage are all Denial right now, only Skeeledon leading the way. Raijin, for all the talk about him having such an amazing damage, he's only just above Janus right now.
It's hard to get off.
It's not easy,
though, especially by a Kali. That's what I was most surprised at, is they picked the Raijin into the Kali, and honestly, Kali hasn't even focused him too much.
Is that really big of an issue?
Yes, because Raijin, he goes up in his ult and he's slow, right? He's kind of like Ares, where he doesn't have full movement speed and he can't lock down. There's also a startup time as he goes into his ultimate. There's time in between the ultimate shots. It's just so much time where Raijin can't really do anything. He can't pop Sanctuary. He can't really be peeled. As long as Mask uses Purification, it's really rough. It's really rough for Raijin.
The start of the game always mentioned is time, and that's the biggest thing. When there's a Kali on the enemy team, Mask is starting to come further and further online now once again, near enough finishing his whole build off. Brawler's Beat Stick picked up after Bombers was sold as well, and continuing his build with a 1000-fold blade there, also online.
Probably going to be Stone Cutting Sword. That's going to give him physical protections as he auto-attacks his target. Really good for a Kali who wants to be in the front line. Takes away protections as well. Just kind of a perfect item for those melee gods. But speaking of perfect, Blinken by Shadowq finds a 3-man Mez once again.
He does. Well, who's going to follow up through space and time? From Mace goes off, doesn't connect with anyone. Randozos retreat back to the safety
Meditation
of
popped by Randozos in the middle of that fight. Spread popped and Denial. They're looking for this middle Phoenix. They don't even want to fight Randozos. They're going to take the free objective. Fire minions on the right-hand side. They're going to head to the left. Randozos have to take a fight sometime soon.
I'm going to get a ton off onto Vetium, put the pressure on. Vetium forced to lacerate away, but gets hit by Skeeledon, which forces the Sanctuary. Phoenix still stands for now, but minions are currently tanking that one. Now the Phoenix will fall down. All three are down as Denial is starting to really look to end.
Scary D wasn't a part of that fight, and he's such a big factor right now for Randozos. If they want to win, Scary D and Skeeledon, these are the two players that need to come up big right now. Now, all 5 members of Denial, they're still here. Randozos trying to defend, and you could tell that Denial, they want to end now. They haven't backed as a team yet. They can feel that Randozos are weak.
I mean, the game is relatively over at this stage as well, unfortunately. You can see the surrender vote coming out. Randozos recognize it's a bit of an awkward situation now for them to be in. I'm okay with that surrender vote. 30 minutes in, 3 Phoenixes down, Fire Giant on the whole team, able to base and come back with it again.
We've seen this before, right? In a best of 3, I can understand if you're in the wrong mindset and you need to win an important set and it's very far out. Like this game more than likely over. Very unrealistic that Randozos come back into it, but I don't like surrenders, especially as a new team after playing so well early. It's kind of a bad look. It's just kind of a bad mindset to have.
We'll see what they do.
You surrender game 1 of your new team.
I'm not upset by that.
Saying.
Let's look at First Blood at the beginning of this game, and it was Skeeledon over in the solo lane combining nicely with Scary D. It was a very good combo.
And Skeeledon had so much of an impact early, but he really fell off, wasn't able to kind of make any deep dives, and full credit to Denial and Shadowq as well. So much disrupt all game.
And the early game, like we said, Randozos were in a pretty good position here. You can see Skeeledon got off to a pretty good start, even picking up that poison kill on Mask.
That was like a frame.
That was brutal.
That was brutal. Mask thought he was alive, I bet you. He's like, I'm alive, don't worry.
He's like, yeah, that last tip kept stopping me from healing, and it also made sure that I died as well. Let's have a look at some Benji plays as well, because Benji, honestly, his ultimates were really on point, and this was the one that I wanted to talk about the most.
It was the reflection shield, right? He hits the ultimate, the dazzling offense, and then gets the reflection shield. Meerkat also stunned, his jump was down, finds the double, and just so impactful in the team fight. That's the point of Amaterasu, right? She's not the best 1v1 character, although she can be phenomenal. It's her utility in team fights. Bonus power, bonus movement speed, damage resistance.
First of all, she's tanky. Second of all, she gives that movement speed to the whole team. And one god you want to give movement speed to as often as you can is a Kali. And Denial have really looked at that team comp and put it together well, and it's worked out well for them for game 1.
For game 1, though, really well played by Randozos.
I'm not
I thought this was going to be a lot more of a one-sided affair, but heading into late game, it really seemed like the experience of Denial was able to pull through. Shadowq, Macetodaface, obviously been playing forever. The Vetium Salt Machine combo made it to Worlds. Mask also, while not too much experience in the SPL, has been around forever, a very notable name coming off his ban. And it kind of makes sense that they kind of understood how to close it out.
I agree. I feel like late game composition-wise, it felt like all the way through that Denial had the late game. Yeah. Early game was favoring the Randozos. I say mid game, actually, because early game the lanes were pushed against them. Rough situation for Randozos. Now, what do you...